Hi everyone, welcome to my kitchen. Well, an extension of my kitchen today. I'm actually going to make some butter today. I'm going to use heavy whipping cream, which is right here, and I'm going to pour it into my mixing bowl and give it a good mix until it turns into whipped cream. And then from whipped cream, I'm going to increase the speed and bring it up to where it can whip a little bit faster and separate out into the butter that I need. So let's get started. I'm using about 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. All right, here we go. You can do this process with a hand mixer as well. So today I'm just going to use my Cuisinart mixer to get this going. I'm going to turn it on a low speed. And this is gonna mix for a while, so I'm gonna walk away and leave it till it gets into a whipping cream, and then we'll get back to it. All right, guys, so it's a little loud. I am turning up the speed on this to get it to whip a little bit faster. I'm like 5 minutes in, so here is what it looks like. All right, guys, you can see this is turning into whipped cream. Let me show you what this looks like. So you can see the consistency, right? Here it is, thick. So what we're gonna do now, I'm going to turn this up higher to the highest speed and let it mix even faster so it can start separating out and turning yellow, and it's gonna start giving me that clumpy look. But note to self, we want to cover this because it will start to splatter all over. All right. So once you get to the whipped cream process, which is this thick whipped cream, we're going to increase the speed. All right, here we go. All right, guys. So it's going to start sticking to the mixing rod. So what you want to do is keep an eye on it because it's going to start separating the liquid, which is going to be your buttermilk. And you want to keep an eye on it so it doesn't splatter all over. So I'm going to turn this back up on high. Actually going to scrape down my sides. This is so thick. So now you can see it's starting to separate. This is where it's going to start splashing. So I'm going to have to cover this so it doesn't get all over the place. All right, guys, so here it is. It's starting to turn it's starting to separate out. So you're seeing where the buttermilk is starting to pull away and everything is turning yellow, which is what we want. And I'm going to keep mixing this on high and cover so it doesn't splash all over the place. right, guys, so I like this mix for about 1 to 2 minutes so I can get it separated. So this is what it looks like. Uh, it's all clumped together. This is my butter. And in the bowl, I'm going to have a lot of cleanup, as you can see from all here. But here is the buttermilk. I don't waste this. I'm going to save this. Sometimes I use this for baking baked biscuits or muffin and fried chicken. So if you ever want to make some really good fried chicken, you can marinate your chicken in this buttermilk. So I'm going to save this for that. And let's get to the next step. So there's going to be a process to this. I have to separate out and wash this butter really good in some cold water to get the rest of the buttermilk out. So here we go. All right, guys, so I'm back in my kitchen. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that butter that I just made. So here it is. And all the buttermilk that's in here, we're going to work with this. So we want to wash this so it runs clean. I'm going to walk you through that step. All right, so the first thing I do, I just strain out my buttermilk. I don't want to get any of the butter in here, so you can use a cheesecloth if you want, but my strainer that has very small mesh to it does the trick. Okay, I'm gonna put this to the side for now. And you want to make sure you have ice cold water that you're working with. So I'm gonna wash this in that water. So separate out, get everything out of this. So got everything off. All right, so take my bowl. Okay, that's here. I want to just bring it together. Press it. The water, the ice cold water, helps to keep it nice and cold and firm, and it doesn't stick to your hands as much. Get everything. I'm gonna dump this out and do it again. So let me throw this off. Again, there we go. This looks good. So once you see your water looks pretty clear, you know, it doesn't have to be perfectly clear, but see, it's not as cloudy as it was earlier, then we know we got a lot of the buttermilk out of it. I'm gonna do it one more time. Okay. So, yep, nice and clear, right? Notice the difference? All right, we're gonna put this to the side. I'm gonna get my paper together to roll my butter up. I have some parchment paper. I am going to take my butter. Look at this beautiful butter. Guys, you do this, you'll never want to go back to the store and buy butter anymore. I'm just using some salt, any kind of salt. If you want to use, do it without salt, that's fine. I usually like to just sprinkle just a bit of salt in it, and I kind of roll it in. Again, you can put whatever flavors you want in here. I'm just trying to get that salt incorporated in. I'm just folding it over a couple of times. So again, you can roll it as thick or thin as you want. And I'm gonna stick this in my refrigerator and just let it sit. and set. All right, guys, so my butter is done. I'm gonna roll this up like this, stick it in my refrigerator, and when it gets nice and firm, I can unroll it and put it in my butter dish. You can roll it in plastic if you'd like, but I just personally prefer to use parchment paper. And then once it gets nice and firm in the refrigerator, usually a few hours, I can unroll it. And if you have a butter dish, you can put it in your butter dish. But simple butter. You can make your own by buying heavy whipping cream, organic heavy whipping cream, and make your own butter and just kind of save yourself from going to the store and buying butter. Or if anybody has been to the store lately, it is extremely expensive. So now my new go-to is to make my own butter. All right, check out my website, check out the recipes that's on that website. Let me know what you think when you try it. Feel free to reach out to me, through my YouTube channel as well as the website and my social media site. So look forward to showing you my next recipe that I work on, and I'll see you next time.